So just so that you know kind of quantity, since I didn't measure any cups. And then it gave us these 2 jarfuls. So if you want to work without any kind of measurements, there you go. With that, Merry Maiden, welcome. So with the holidays, I did want to go ahead and do like the Friendsgiving, but just isn't working out this year. So we're just doing like certain elements of it that make sense for what I am working on in the kitchen and just kind of what fits the needs of my house. That being said, you guys may or may not remember that I've been keeping all of my scraps and in order to make vegetable stock. So Monica here does actually have a recipe. I guess it's not Monica, right? Anyways, they have a recipe here though for both turkey stock and vegetable stock, and after reviewing both of them, they're very similar. The key difference in the turkey stock is that you're going to be using turkey carcass in order to get all that flavor. So if you're wanting a more flavorful turkey stock, but being vegan, they actually do make a vegan turkey bouillon. I would definitely mispronounce that. I'm one of those people where like if it's said out loud before me, I can definitely say it. I haven't heard this word in probably a year. So anyways, but it's that like powder or sometimes like gelatin cubes, depending. I know gelatin isn't necessarily vegan, so they don't typically come in that form. There's other ways. Anyways, point is you may see it in that like jelly-like form, even if it is made in a vegan manner. And you can add that to your vegetable stock in itself because you still add a whole bunch of vegetables to it. Just plain and simple, you still do that. I think one of the key differences is that you actually add in bay leaves and parsley. Like she's like, here are the herbs that you definitely want to go ahead and use, versus the vegetable stock where it's like, ooh, you can have a little bit more fun with it. And so because we can have a little bit more fun with it, oh wow, she even puts lemons in hers. So that's my point. I've never considered that. So, and even Monica here mentions like, hey, you can just use your scraps too instead of going through all this. I didn't want to buy my vegetables too since I do have all my scraps. Also, with all this cooking, my scrap bag has gotten very close to overflowing. So it is definitely time, see, label it stock. It is definitely time to go ahead and make stock out of this. So let's go ahead. We're going to move over to the stove and we'll get started with this. Okay, so we have 2 here because it would not fit into just this one pot and it's the biggest pot I have. I honestly was really scared and I hope I have enough containers to store it. I didn't think about that when I was just like, I'm gonna make vegetable stock. So that's a thing. I think I have enough containers and jars and whatnot, but this is definitely a reason to hold on to them. So we can kind of see, so it is filled submerged with water. That's the key thing. So you can do however much you want. You like, I'm doing this much because this is how many scraps I had. If I would have thought about it sooner, I probably could have just done like a handful and just made like this one pot and then kept the rest of these there for a later one. But so and then if you're doing the full-on vegetables and just fresh vegetables and you just wanted to make fresh stock, same thing. You're just covering it to where it's submerged with water, and you want to leave some inches available, of course, because it's going to be boiling. So you want to be very careful with that, and that's why you want to give yourself some grace and room when doing this. But really, we're just gonna go ahead, bring these to a boil while they're covered, remove the lids, and then allow them to simmer. Sorry, you can see it's like fogging in my house because I've been doing some other cooking, so please ignore that. I swear these are exactly how they need to be. But anyways, we'll check in with you throughout the process as we get this going. All right, so we have one of them. It was boiling. I just took off the lid, so now as always when you look at boiling and what you're looking to do, if you're stirring, it's going to take longer to boil, because what boiling is, it's that air trying to escape, and so it creates the air bubbles, and because heat rises, it escapes up, and so that's what boiling happens. And that's why if you're stirring a lot, it's a lot harder to get that boiling because it's not resting enough, so it doesn't feel the need to disrupt because we're releasing all the steam. So that's why you saw as the lid came off, maybe, I know there was a lot of steam. The boiling, it was just boiling so much too, that's why it's interesting. It goes down. So now we have it lowered this one's smaller, so the other one is still working on boiling. We're gonna let this simmer for about 2 to 3 hours. Low heat, lid off. Since I'm on a gas stove, I have to be careful to make sure to monitor that it doesn't start boiling again, and to just like kind of move it around. But that's essentially what we're doing. We're trying to get all these flavors just soaked into, and essentially we're trying to melt those flavors into the water as much as possible. And so, I don't know, I just had an interesting thought. Someone can let me know if I'm right. Maybe I'll research it myself. But I wonder if as the steam is releasing, you know how you can't replace matter? Steam is replacing so that those ingredients can go into it. But it also just might be the whole reaction to adding heat to water and just a necessary consequence. Anyways, thanks for listening to me ramble. I'll probably check in with you guys. I don't know if I'll strain on camera just because I want to be careful, although this one will be easier to strain. So if I do, you will get to see it. So if you do get to see it, there you go. If not, I'll check in with you when we're done with our stock and we're just seasoning. Merry meet again. So we have our stocks here. So this ended up only being about an hour for me. So you can kind of see how it has reduced a lot. So if this one might be easier to tell, but it was definitely up here and now it's gone down. So I feel like I don't want to put it there for much more. I did go ahead and taste it and I think salt and pepper will just help finish it out. So what we're going to do, because I forgot I needed to add salt and pepper first, because originally I was just going to strain it straight into the thing. But we're going to go ahead, get all these veggies out and discard them, and then we'll add our salt and pepper to them, and then I'll go ahead and show you guys our final pour and talk through it. Merry meet again. So here we are with our finished vegetable stock. So as you can see from that bag, I think it was a gallon sized bag, filled. I pretty much, if I had to add more scraps, I would not have been able to close that bag. Last time was pushing it. So just so that you know kind of quantity, since I didn't measure any cups. And then it gave us these 2 jarfuls. So if you want to work without any kind of measurements, there you go. With that, this is going to be a success. I plan on using this sooner rather than later, so I'm not freezing any of mine. I'm just going to be putting in the fridge, which is why I did it in these portions. There's probably better containers if you're going to be freezing them. And then if you're like going to use it for like just adding a little bit of broth here and there, you can always freeze them in ice cubes. And those are really nice, like, especially if you want to add, you can add extra herbs to those, and then you can make them to where it's like, oh, perfect, I have some veggies in the pan right here, I'm going to throw this in there and it's going to add all of that flavor that we made up. Or maybe it's tofu that you're adding it to. Either way. Go ahead, enjoy this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.